Hello and welcome to a new episode of the CTO Show with Mehmet. My name is Mehmet. I'm your host, and in every episode, we talk about emerging tech, digital transformation, cybersecurity. But at the same time, and as you are seeing and following us, we also host sometimes special guests who give us insights about their journey while starting their companies. And today, I'm very thrilled to have with me Kavin Patel, who's joining me from Arizona in the US. And Kevin is a seasoned entrepreneur, and he have like more than 18 years experience in the tech industry, who would like share some of his insights. So first of all, thank you, Kevin, for joining me today. If you can just introduce you to my audience, I would be really more than thankful for that.
Yeah, certainly. Thanks, Mehmet, for having me on the show. My name's Kavin Patel, here from Arizona. Graduated out of ASU. Uh, you know, didn't really make my parents happy. Not becoming a doctor or lawyer. Ended up actually going to business school and did economics. Always knew I wanted to do something on the internet, and here I am today.
That's cool. So you have started the company called Convert, right? So what inspired you to start um, a white label landing page builder?
It started when I would say I was a freshman in college. One of my really good friends, he had sent out an email that basically said, I'm looking to start a company. I don't know what it is. It's going to do something on the internet. If you're interested, meet me in front of the library. And, it was like maybe 30, 40 people on it. But when I got there, it was just me and him. And that was the day where we basically started our digital agency. It was called Amazing Creations at that time. And we were doing, full service work. We were building out websites, we were doing demand gen. And that's where we started to kind of go into our niche was conversion optimization. So we helped a homeopath company that was selling HCG and other diet supplements online, and they were only doing about 500 bucks a month. And what we did was we spun up landing pages for these each individual product and drove targeted traffic to it. And we actually got to 50K a month. I would say within 6 to 7 months. It was pretty fast. And so that's where, we started to dabble in landing pages, and then that's when Unbounce was coming out. Everyone was going crazy over Unbounce, but it was still a bit technical for us to use. So we were just building a tool for ourselves, actually. We wanted something that our team members can use and manage customers a lot easier. And it just started from there. Me and Drew, we were still basically hustling. We had a job and we were funding this tool. And one day our bosses pissed us off, and we were like, we're never going back to corporate. And we actually quit, and we just went all in on Convert. And we had a couple pivots in the market. We thought we would go B2C, kind of like what the other players were doing, but we quickly realized, that requires a lot of training, customer support, something that we just weren't ready for. We're still bootstrapped today, so we actually pivoted and went B2B to C. So we found a lot of CRM automation platforms out there that was basically sending all their customers to third-party apps to use. And if you calculate how much lost revenue that is, and also sometimes those people just migrate over, churn away, it was in the millions. And we were able to share this story with them. And so now, some of the leading marketing automation companies like Freshworks, Blue, Keep, they all rely on our technology, the landing page builder, for their end customers to use. So uh, that's kind of how we ended up in that market.
Now, that's the inspiring story. I'm sure that down all the road you faced a lot of challenges, and I think it's a very traditional question, but I have to ask it. Um, what was the biggest obstacle while you were building Convert, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, so myself, I'm not really a technical founder. Drew, he is a bit more technical, I would say, like on the front end, UI, UX piece. So very early on, we ran into, just being able to get the product actually built. We started outsourcing. We started to, put together a team over here in the US. And the problem we were having was, just either our expectations weren't being met or we weren't finding the right team members to join. So I would say, like, for the first 3 years, it was just basically trying to recruit a CTO who really cared and understood what we were trying to get into. And luckily one day we came across him. We found him through a website, Code Mentor, and we somehow convinced him to leave his 100K salary job, move to Arizona, and then from here we took off to Florida, where we landed our first contract with a company called SharpSpring that was acquired later and went IPO. So, in the beginning, it's really just putting together that team. And obviously, you have the whole battle of financing it, bootstrapping it, trying to figure out how to do all that. But like really, if I look back, it just what kept me up at night was like trying to find a technical founder who could really make this product scale. And like, I would say just spend a lot of as much as time you can on that because that's what makes the biggest difference, at least from what I've experienced so far.
Yeah. So just brought to me just a quick question. Do you think that it's easier now to at least get in front of customer with MVP? Because I cover also the topic of no code. I myself enrolled on a no code cohort recently. Although I have a little bit technical background in coding. I'm not a coder. I was all my career in infrastructure. But do you think now it's more easier than the time that you started?
I would say it is definitely getting easier. You have like these tools like called Copilot coming out, where they're baking in AI to write some of the code. I don't know honestly too much about that. I know a lot of developers actually are finding it helpful. Also, like we use TypeScript in our code base. That's allowed for just a lot of reduction on bugs and tickets that get submitted because again, like the parameter of how it makes you code has made a difference. So like as technology starts to evolve, I think being able to write code is getting a lot smarter because it's really accounting for some of the flaws and securities that may come into writing just bad code and publishing it. So there are definitely better frameworks coming into today's world that just allows for more you know better code that again is going to be able to scale and just prevent a lot of support and bad code being published.
Yeah. Now, the second question, which I think it's also a traditional one, but I'm always personally very curious about the decision that is taken to take which path. So you mentioned that the business was bootstrapped, right? So why you choose this path and not to go and go for a pre-seed, seed, whatever, from funding perspective?
Yeah, honestly, like it just comes from I think our Middle Eastern like background of not being liked what to be what to do basically. Like early on we're like raised where our parents are owning our own business and they have their schedule of how they like it. And so when we got started, we weren't really interested in seeing like, oh, a company come in and give us like 1 million or 2 million and seed money to go build something because we saw what came with that. And early on, we were just basically just having fun trying to start this company, and we were already starting to make some money out of it, and we just kept going. We never focused on like, oh, we need a surplus injection of money to do XYZ. We were just really from the beginning focused on the customer piece. Like, can we actually sell it? Can we get six-figure contracts going in? And that's honestly what's helped us get to where we are on the product piece is, being forced to go talk to prospects and customers and see if we can actually sell this and self-fund it. I'm not saying that we will never look at taking investments. It's just I would say in early stage, like it's important just to try to figure out that sales cycle. So then you can take that money and double down on what you see is working and see if you could scale it faster from there.
Makes sense because it depends also about the type of business. So some businesses or some business ideas, I would say, they would require, of course, like the funding from VCs or angel
Right.
investors. While some, I believe, like especially like yours, it's something that you can build it by your own money. And yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with you. Like we have this cultural thing. Yeah, I don't want someone to tell me what I do, right? So
Yeah.
pretty much right. Another thing, and this is because like you are offering a SaaS at the end of the day, right? And
Right.
when we talk about SaaS, and this I'm asking it because some of the people who might be listening or watching this later and thinking about starting a SaaS business. So, there was always this concept, oh, like I need to hide the idea, like people will copy my idea. So, what you can share about this, competition, especially in the SaaS market, and how it's important that you keep innovating and trying to get rapidly with the new features to your customers.
Yeah. So early on, you always, when you're pitching your idea to people, they'll be like, "Oh, have you heard of XYZ?" And, it's always good to hear about them just because it validates that there is a need in that market if a company is already succeeding, right? But we never spent too much really focusing on what our customers were kind of providing. We got that more through just again talking to our customers. For example, when we were working with Freshworks, really quickly they were like, landing pages, it's going great with their customers, but now we want to provide pop-ups. Can you turn the builder into making pop-ups? And so that ended up becoming like a request from an enterprise customer. And we're like, maybe like if we do this, then we can sell it to Send and Blue or Keep. And that's kind of like what happened is once we got pop-ups built, we saw demand from other customers. And so that's how we kind of just build out our suite of products of what we want to provide is kind of letting the market customers tell us, instead of really kind of looking at what other people are doing. uh, just let your customers and market kind of guide on what's really wanted and needed out of the product.
Yeah, cool. Um, as a founder, like, of course, like you believe you're still involved in the day-to-day operation. So, how easy or how difficult it is to keep the balance between, the time that you need to spend on strategic planning, managing the team, but at the same time, keeping up to the latest industry trends, whether like let's say now AI is taking the world by the hype it created. So how do you manage the time to make the balance between both?
Yeah, I mean, it's just spending a lot of time on Twitter. Yeah, like, honestly, early in the mornings when I first wake up and then when I go to bed, I usually try to use that time to kind of, you know, self-indulge into some of the news out there. But, Twitter has, from day one for me, been my source of information and tech. Um, LinkedIn used to do well too, but I found myself getting more off of LinkedIn recently. I'm not sure why. Like, I don't find people really talking much that resonates. I don't know if that's because I'm in like discovery mode all the time, like what's new, what's happening, and I see a lot more of that on Twitter. And so again, like, you find your moments where you're by yourself, not on calls or on your computer, and that's all I do is just catch up on Twitter.
Yeah, frankly speaking, I have to agree with you on this. So I'm active more on LinkedIn and little bit on Twitter. But I mean, from content consumption perspective,
Right.
a lot of the things that I found recently
Yeah.
interesting, I found it on Twitter, because
Yeah.
LinkedIn more, and I hope that they're gonna do something, because
Right.
I love because at least the people there are real, not much
Yep.
bots, similar to the
Yep.
Twitter story, but yet and this is one of the I would say motivation for me to start this whole thing that I'm doing now, which is the
Mhm.
podcast and this thing, because I was sharing them in an article. I was trying to educate people.
Mhm.
Hey, folk, there is this new technology. I think it's
Yeah.
cool. Tell me what you think, and let's have a discussion. I don't find this much on LinkedIn, but there are
Uh-huh.
some guys like, if you have heard about Justin Welch, for example, like this guy, he started to create this vibe on LinkedIn, so where people, he's trying to tell people, look, the professional people are sitting there. You can sell your value there. You can share your stories there. I hope that this change really, because I love
Yeah.
LinkedIn. But yeah, I agree with you. Like I rely on Twitter. I rely personally like on some of the feed reader apps. So I have some
Yeah.
some
Honestly, I
perspective.
think what it is like it's just easier to consume the content on Twitter, right? Because it's short form.
Shorter.
And on LinkedIn, I don't know how it got started, but those long form posts and I mean, I'm guilty of it. I do a lot of that, and again, some of that was just to kind of A/B test if I can get comments or how people would interact. And so like it just came a thing of like, you know, these short novel posts on LinkedIn compared to like, bite-sized content on Twitter that's so much easier to read. Like within the first 1 or 2 seconds, if you wanna click on that tweet and read more instead of just, seeing a bunch of
Yeah.
content.
Just an advice from my side, just follow the right people so you see in your feed the right things, because
Yeah.
recently they changed something in the in the algorithm themes, and I had to unfollow a
Hmm.
lot of things that I followed maybe 10 years back, so I
Wow.
was getting no sense content. But yeah, now it's much better. um just final question before we close with you today, Kevin. What you would tell or advise your younger self, and I'm asking this question, if someone today, maybe he's just graduating or she just graduated, and they want to go in tech and doing this entrepreneurship journey, what advice you would give to yourself as a younger self, or to this younger generation?
Uh, I mean, like, so a lot of family members and some of my peers always are like, "Oh, I have this great idea, and I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna go into this." And I see sometimes they're fueled by just what they hear in the media about, investments and all these series money that they're getting, and like just go in with the right intentions, basically. Like, don't think you're gonna become an overnight millionaire, you're gonna have an overnight success. Like this is like real, grinding. It's a lot of stress. I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into it. Like you need to really want this to make it work. And that's it. I mean, like, it just comes down to passion is what I would tell, again, like, I mean, that's what I told myself when I first started is, like, I have this passion of wanting to do something on the internet, and I'm gonna go full into this and make it work, and that's the mentality I had, that's the mentality, Drew, my other co-founder, had, and, that's kinda like the message to just anyone, starting out is, like, just you make sure you have that passion and that you're gonna commit at least 8 to 10 years to that idea, to really see something happen.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much, Kevin, for this insight. So your product is B2B, as I understand, right? So I'm gonna still share, the link for anyone who's interested to know more about Convert, how you can create landing pages easily, and all the features that Convert offers. So I would be sharing that in the episode description. Well, thank you very much, Kevin. I really appreciated your time. It's early in the morning for you. And thank you for everyone who watched or listened to this episode. And as usual, if you have any feedback, if you have any questions, if you want to even come to the show, please let me know. You can send me an email. You can find me on LinkedIn or Twitter. We just talked about that. And I would be more than happy to have this discussion with you. So until next time, see you soon. Bye bye.